what it'll be like. How do I identify it as being a pig?
It's got 4 legs.
Okay, so it has 4 legs, right? And what else?
Hairless.
What?
Hairless.
Okay, short hair at least. Okay, what else? Can you tell me about a pig?
Nose. Snout.
It has a snout, a flat nose, right? Flat snout. And what else? What about its tail?
Curly.
It has a curly tail, and what's it sound like? And it says oink.
Okay.
All right? So, if I'm looking out at a husky dog, and it's got 4 legs, but it's got hair, the snout isn't flat, but it has a curly tail, and it goes woof. Is it a pig? How do you know? Because it doesn't match the definition of a pig. This is a bad definition of a pig, right? It's not a complete thing. If we have it right, then it will fit. And every time it fits, we have a pig, right? So we're doing the exact same thing over here. We're saying this thing here can be divided up into component pieces. And in order for this to be true, it to be that thing, all the pieces got to be there. Just like, and if one of them isn't, if we don't got a curly tail, we don't got a pig. Right? If it's going ba, 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 it ain't a pig. Pigs go what? Say it together. Okay, good. Right? So, if this definition is complete and accurate, we use it. The law is going to be complete and accurate, and we need to use it. So here's the question I have. There's not a right answer. Where do you put the pieces? Where do you put the lines, folks? Where's the first line? Okay, I would put it here. Next one. I would put it here. They got to operate something. What do they have to operate? A vehicle. It's got to be on a highway. And this is a single concept to me. Because, how do you identify it's a single concept? It can be answered yes or no. It's on-off. Either they have a valid license or they don't. Yes or no. Either they're a person or they're not. Right? Either they're operating something or they're not. Either it's a vehicle or it's not. Either it's a highway or it's not. And in order for a person to be guilty of this, they all have to be true. Do you understand that? You're 20% of what you need to understand this course. Because you understand process. This is the start of the process. So, can I have your name again? Shanice? Shalise. Shalise. Shalise is driving down the Trans-Canada Highway. She doesn't have a license. She's driving a car. Is Shalise a person? Is she operating something? The answer is yes. Is what she's operating, it's a car, a vehicle? We're going to say yes. Is it a highway? How do you know it's a highway? It's Trans-Canada Highway, we're going to say it's a highway. And does she have a valid driver's license or not? No, so is she without a license? Yes. How many of those 5 things are true? 5. Therefore she is, do you see this? Easy. Can I have your name?
Sari.
Sari?
Yes.
Got it? Okay. Sari?
Yes.
All right. Sari is driving down 22nd Street in her car, and she doesn't have a valid driver's license. And the police pull her over, and they give her a ticket for that. Is she guilty of that?
No.
Why not?
It's not a highway.
Who died and made you guys gods of law? How do you know if it's a highway? It is 22nd Street. Is that a highway? No. Here's the right answer, folks. We don't know yet, Murray. Would you please teach us? We're not allowed to make up law just because we want to. We're not allowed to guess and decide that this is what the rule is going to be. So, let me show you something. So, please say, Marie, would you please teach us? Say that. Okay. Together as a class. Yeah.
Very
That was
good.
horrible. Let's try it again. Right? All right, so you're going to have to teach. So this is here, and we agree that she's a person. She's operating something. That what she's operating is a vehicle. You're saying it's not a highway because you're guessing at what a highway is. Could you be wrong?
Yeah.
And is she without a valid driver's license? So we agree that whether she's guilty or not is based on whether it's a highway. And you don't know what a highway is. So how do you find out?
Read further.
Well, actually you read before. This is a statute. Statutes often have definitions at the start. So statutes they're like a book, except for every one of them is numbered, and those numbers are called sections, right? And the section number is number 1, says this is the Highway Traffic Act. And it's often sections 2, and sometimes 2 or 3. There's definitions in there. And if you go to sections 2 or 3 in this statute that I'm making up, you're going to see highway equals a road, street, or thoroughfare that the public has a right of access to. Does that help you at all?
No.
Okay, then you're going to fail. Where is she? Is 22nd Street a road, street, or thoroughfare that the public has a right of access to?
Yes. Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
So therefore it is a,
Highway.
and therefore she is
Guilty.
guilty. But you need that piece. That's a rule. That's a law. Right? It's in the statute, but in order for you to assess this, sometimes you need the rules. The good news is I'm going to give them all to you. Everything you need. But you do need to understand, you can't guess when there's a rule. So, we understand that she is going to be guilty. Okay? Can I have your name?
Shanaki.
I got to come over here and hear you clearly.
Shanaki.
Shanaki?
Shanaki.
Shalake.
Shanaki.
Shanake. Thank you. That's really good when you do that for me. Okay? Shanake. Okay? Shanake is 8 years old. And she says, Mom, can I drive your car up and down the driveway? I'm just going to stay on the driveway that we own. And her mom, being a bad mom, says, sure, Shanake, what the hell? Here's the keys to a 3,000-pound piece of metal that you can kill yourself in. Right? And anyway, so Shanake goes and starts driving her car just up and down her driveway. Okay? And the police come along and give her a ticket for that. Is she guilty or innocent?
Innocent.
Is she a person? You need to teach you how to think. You cannot go there without going through the process.
Not the age majority.
Doesn't matter. Is she a person?
Yes.
We have to know the definition of a person.
You do. We're going to say it's a human being.
She's not on a thoroughfare that the public has the right of access to.
Okay, is she a person?
Yes.
Yes.
Is she operating something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is what she's operating a vehicle?
Yes.
Is she on a highway?
No.
Is she on a road?
No.
Is she on a street?
No.
No.
Is she on a thoroughfare? What's a thoroughfare? It's a place that people would travel. There's an argument that a driveway may be a thoroughfare, but what did you say?
Public doesn't have access to it. She's on private property.
Careful here. Your first answer is good. Your second answer is very dangerous. Does the public have a right to access her driveway?
No.
No. Therefore, it's not a.
Highway.
And is she without a valid driver's license? Yes. But because we have 1, 2, 3,
4.
but not 4 and 5, she's not guilty. Yay. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. I have to ask a question now. Just because I need to make sure that the person I'm talking to understands what we're talking about, okay? How many of you have ever done a donut? Do you know what that is? And you've done one? Okay, what's your name? What?
Allison.
Allison. Okay, we're going to step over to Allison. I'm going to make sure you all understand this, but I just want to make sure that at least we understand, some people understand this. Allison is 14 years old. She goes to Walmart with her mother. They're going to buy something. What was it again, Allison, that you're going to buy?
Trampoline.
A trampoline. Very nice, okay? They're very nice this time of year. Anyways, so she's off to Walmart to buy a trampoline, and her mom says, "Oh, Allison, it's a little cold out here. Just drop me off at the door, and then you can go and park the truck." Okay? So Allison waits until her mother has gone inside the store, and then she goes to a not a lot of people around area of the Walmart parking lot, and she decides that she's going to do a bunch of donuts. Now, not everyone may know what those are. Who does know what those are? Okay, a lot of you. For those who know what they are, do you know what they are? Have you done one? That's off. Okay, once or twice. Because that's good enough. Do you know how to do one?
Yes.
All right, that's all I really care about. So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, can you please tell the class, how do you do a donut?
Pretty much you try to go in a circle with your car.
How do you do it? What do you do inside the car?
Oh, you start accelerating so your back tires slip and then you turn the wrong way, like the other way, and then it
So, would it be fair to say that you crank the wheel all to one side? Is that right?
Yeah.
Am I right, folks?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever done one. If I do, I can't remember. And then you accelerate, and what happens to the vehicle?
Starts.
It does this kind of a circle thing. And if you get your tires spinning real nice, right, as you do that, you will leave black marks on the pavement that will look like a donut. Am I right? So you basically do this acceleration, the tires spinning in a circle around a point that leaves a mark. Okay, so some of you have done these before? Okay, that's what Allison did. The police come and give her a ticket for that. Is she guilty or innocent?
guilty.
How old is
Does she
Allison
have
again?
What?
No, 14
Does she
years
have
old.
14?
She's 14.
Oh, guilty.
It's a public place.
What were you asking?
I said, what's the rule for it? Because we don't, would it be different than that, or no?
Well, is she a person?
Yeah.
Is she operating something?
Yes.
This is all you need to do. Is what she's operating a vehicle?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a car. Is she on a highway?
Yes.
Yeah.
But isn't it private property?
No.
You say that?
Absolutely it is.
But you
It
said
is
that-
private property. Who owns the Walmart parking lot?
But public has an access, a right of access.
That's not the question I'm asking. I'm showing you that asking whether it's private property will lead you to the wrong conclusion. It's not the test. The test is it a road, street, or thoroughfare that the public has a right of access to? So if we ask, is it private property, what's the answer?
Yes.
Yes. But if we ask, the right question is it a road, street, or thoroughfare that the public has a right of access to? What's the answer?
Yes.
How come the public has a right of access?
Walmart wants it.
Walmart gives them that right. Not only are you allowed to drive on the Walmart parking lot, when you reach the pinnacle of life of what this is, you can camp there. Right?
Yeah.
You can camp on the Walmart parking lot. You can sleep the night there. You can bring in your trailer. You can form a little circle, put up your little fire pit and sing Kumbaya in the Walmart parking lot. And they allow you to do that, don't they? How many of you have reached that pinnacle of life where you've spent the night on a Walmart parking lot? I have. Okay, I've done it once. I needed to die saying I did it once. But if you're driving down through Walmart, especially in the summer, you will see them. These people with their campers all lined up, spending the night in that epitome of paradise that we call the Walmart parking lot. So when you see them there, you'll know, why are these people there at 10 o'clock at night? By the way, the night that I spent there, it was hell. It was absolute frickin' hell. They decided that they were going to do construction, basically what I thought was in my ear. They were outside scraping the pavement at 4 o'clock in the morning. Scraping it. You can't imagine. You know that sound on the chalkboard that I won't do because it was like that, only 1,000 times worse. It was the worst thing you could possibly imagine. And finally I got up and moved. And it wasn't as bad. Anyways, is she guilty or innocent? Guilty. Because? Why?
Everything but.
Because all of these things are proved on those facts. And you can never argue with the facts in this course. Facts are just a method for me to teach the law and for you to show you understand it. You always treat facts as proved. Got me? All right. Where did I get to? To you? Did I get you? No, you're next?
Yes.
Are you scared? We dealt with her last?
Yeah.
All right, so we're on to you. Can I have your name, please?
Tash.
Say it again.
Tash.
Tash. Tash is also 14, and she decides she wants to take her bicycle over to her friend's place. It is much shorter for her to go through the Walmart parking lot. So she's riding her bike through the Walmart parking lot, and the police stop her and give her a ticket for that. Is she guilty or innocent?
What is a vehicle?
You would like me to define the vehicle? You say, teach me, Marie? So what are we going to do? That's a very good answer, folks. See how quickly you learn? Right? And by the way, if any of you are out there and going, you don't need a driver's license to operate a bike, you're screwing up. You cannot start with the answer and then figure out how you're going to get there. What you have to do is put on your blinders and say, there are 5 pieces here. Are they all here? So, is Tash
Yes.
a person?
Yes.
Yes.
Is she operating something?
Yeah.
Is she on a highway?
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you know she's on a highway?
Public has the right.
Because the statute says that's a highway, right? But don't we also have common law?
True. The previous case.
Isn't that decision that the judge made that said she's guilty of this say the Walmart parking lot is a... We have statute law, but we also have common law. When that judge made the decision, it said that's a highway. See that? They both say the same thing, right? No problem. So, we could use this, or we could use that, or we could use both. We're going to get there. It's a highway, and she doesn't have a driver's license. So you understand that this turns on vehicles. So what are we going to do? So how are we going to find the definition of vehicle?
Check the section.
We are going to open up the statute to the section that has the definitions. They're alphabetical. We're going to ABC. We're going to get to the V's, and there's nothing there. Now what?
There's something there?
There's nothing there. It doesn't tell you. It doesn't say vehicle is. It says highway is. It doesn't say vehicle is. Now what? If we cannot find the answer in statute law, we go to common law. If we pretend that this is the common law, all of it, do we have a definition of what a vehicle is yet? No. There hasn't been a case like this. They've all been cars. Is a bicycle a vehicle? So we don't have common law. We don't have statute law. We don't have common law. And what the rule is that if you don't have statute law, and you don't have common law, and you need to know what something is, you go and pick up an ordinary English dictionary, and you see what it says. So I've done this several times. I'm not going to do it again. But I'm going to tell you that if you look up a vehicle in a dictionary, amongst other things, because there's all sorts of different ways that it's defined, but it says it's a mode of conveyance. Is a bicycle a mode of conveyance? Then it is a... And then she is...
Yes, she, okay.
Got it? You're doing things fine. No problems yet. Okay? We're going to move over here to you.
Hillary.
Hillary. Hillary decides to go skateboarding in the Walmart parking lot. She's riding around in her skateboard, doing all sorts of things. And the police come and give Hillary a ticket for that. Is she guilty or innocent? Mode of conveyance means a way of moving around. Is she guilty or innocent, folks?
Guilty.
Okay, you say she's guilty. How many of you say she's guilty? Okay, now we're going to make things a little bit more difficult. So far you've been sitting back like big fat old judges. You know, here are the cases. Oh, this is easy. I'm just going to apply the rules here, okay? But I'm not going to let you do that. I'm going to have to make you do some work, okay? You're not going to be able to sit back and examine the cases like a judge. I need you to go to a different role for Hillary. You don't get to be a judge. What I want you to do is I want you to be her lawyer. Now what do you do? Go ahead.
Argue that skateboarding, while it's a mode of conveyance, it's classified as a vehicle. It's a form of entertainment.
So let's walk our way through this process. I'm just going to put you on the hold. That's a good answer, okay? I want you to put you on hold. Are you going to argue that Hillary is not a person? She's Martian. She's come from a different land. She's a pig. I've heard her go oink. Right? Are you going to be able to argue that, folks? Does this have any reasonable basis? No. So can you argue that it's not a person? Can you argue that she's not operating? Do we know what operating means?
No.
We really don't. We haven't dealt with it. So this is possible, but we don't even know enough to make the argument. Can we argue that it's not a highway?
No.
No.
Because what?
Precedent.
We've got common law and the statute. Two common laws and the statute. There's no, this is no. You go and say, well, it really wasn't. Can you argue that she does have a license when the facts say she doesn't?
No.
No. So we're back to here. And what did we say? A vehicle is a mode of? So tell me your argument again. It's not being used as a?
Mode of conveyance is form of entertainment.
So we're not using it for transportation.
Leisure activity.
We're using it for recreation. How many of you would buy that argument if you're the judge?
Partially.
Well, that's enough. Would you buy it? Would you say, hey, you're not using it for transportation, you don't need a license. If it's recreation,
But then you open precedent.
you have, we're okay with that. When a thing is being used for recreation, but that does mean one of us was wrongfully convicted.
donuts.
The donut guy.
The donut guy, they weren't using it for transportation, were they? Right? So we would say, oops, too bad. And so sad, we got you, we shouldn't have. Because the law has changed. But would you buy that argument, folks, that if you're not using it for transportation, that it isn't a vehicle?
No,
You wouldn't buy it?
no, because you have recreational vehicles that have the definition as a vehicle and they're being operated.
Who told you that?
All the definitions in the name, it's a vehicle.
So who cares? If you're mud bogging in your backyard, or even in a place in the river,
We're not talking about that, we're talking about the Walmart parking lot.
so what else is going to be used as conveyance? What's wrong with the idea that recreation is not a vehicle? Besides the fact that we convicted someone that we shouldn't have. What's wrong with that?
Not specific enough.
We can deal with the law. Common law is never specific enough. It always deals with a very particular set of facts, but it doesn't. The idea that same facts, same outcome. Are you worried about where it's going to go?
No.
What's wrong with that then? How many of you would say, "Hey, let's not give the person on a skateboard a ticket for that"? You okay with that? You got to have a reason. It will be a precedent. Is it a bad precedent? People are going and using things for recreation? Because here's where we're going to go. Okay? Let me show you this. Can I have your name?
Home,
Ho?
home,
Ho?
home, home.
Ho?
Okay, home.
I'm so bad at this, folks. What am I missing?
Maybe we'll change one, Catherine. It will be okay. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll talk about this in a minute, okay, but not right now. Catherine, all right, she's going to use... Catherine gets new roller blades for her birthday. And she is rollerblading down the sidewalk on her rollerblades. And the police come and give her a ticket for that. Is she guilty or innocent?
Innocent?
Guilty.
How many people say she's guilty? It's okay. There's no. How many people say she's innocent? Why do you say she's guilty, first of all? And I'm going to ask why you say she's innocent next.
Because of the definition of
You could argue that the sidewalk is a thoroughfare that like public has access to.
Is that a hard argument?
Probably.
Would you say that a sidewalk is a thoroughfare that the public has a right of access to?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that that's pretty clear. Well, you're all wrong. How can you both be wrong? How can you both be wrong? If you say yes, you're wrong. If you say no, you're wrong. Why?
5 years.
Well, it's because you can't answer that question with those facts. Why not? Because you don't know what she's doing. If she's going somewhere, then she's using it as a mode of conveyance, transportation. If she's out playing on the sidewalk, then she's using it for... And on the facts that I gave you, you cannot answer the question.
it's missing the use, and if she doesn't revoke the driver's license.
Okay, we'll say she doesn't have the license. You still can't answer the question. All right? Because I haven't given you the facts. And one of my jobs, folks, is to show you and always give you the facts that you need according to the law that I've taught you. I won't do this on an exam unless I don't care what your answer is, right? But for the most part, it's kind of, we go back to the idea, I walk in the room, there's a woman lying on the ground, and I don't know what's going on. There's not enough facts, right? You got to at least give me a little more than person lying on the ground, right, in order for me to be able to use the rules properly. Even when I do, if you don't know your rules, you will have trouble addressing this. But I have to tell you, if I'm going to give you those facts, enough facts that you can apply these properly to it. And when we have a bicycle that we say is, and a skateboard that we say isn't, because one of them you're just playing around and the other you're going somewhere, when I give you rollerblades, I have to tell you, are you playing around and it's a skateboard? Or are you going somewhere and it's a bicycle? And since I didn't, you can't actually answer that question based on what we've learned. Okay? I need to do a couple things. First of all, I need to debrief. Especially for those who say, well, I best get my driver's license before I go rollerblading to my friend's place. Okay? I made this up. I made it up to show you how it works, not to show you what the rules are. This isn't a law. I made it up. If you go to the Highway Traffic Act and you look it up, it will say, no person shall operate a motor vehicle on a highway without a valid driver's license. And they will say a highway is a road, street, or thoroughfare that the public has a right of access to, except parking lots. Now this has got me somewhat confused. I've never really looked into it. Because, can you get a ticket for how you behave in a parking lot?
Yep.
Absolutely you can. Does everyone know what the most common ticket people get in a parking lot is?
Unsafe operation.
Unsafe backing. Unsafe backing. You backed up when it wasn't safe to do so, and you smacked something, right? Usually it's another car. And they'll give you a ticket for that, even though it's in a parking lot, and even though a parking lot is not a highway, but somehow you're guilty of that offense, even though it's not a highway. You cannot underestimate how much you've actually learned tonight. We've gone through a lot. But you need to solidify it. There's not a lot of work that needs to be done with this when I'm just giving you information and asking you to understand it. But I do want you to understand what this is and what this is and what they're like. So I want to complete tonight by finishing off a couple pieces that we need to understand. If you've understood common law, you will understand that it is huge. There are 10,000 cases today. Do we have to understand every one of them to understand the law? And the answer is kind of. But even though it's not more important or more valuable, one thing you have to know is the government can change common law by passing a statute. Statute law trumps common law. And this is why when I hear politicians, and I hear it fairly regularly, they'll say, we're sick and tired of the courts running the country. What type of law do the courts make? And what type of law does the government make? And if a government doesn't like what the courts decided, they can pass a statute and it is instantly gone. Instantly gone. I'm going to tell you a story about that next week, but I'm not going to tell you tonight. So you have to understand, although they're both there, and they're both really important, one of them overrides the other when they conflict. Okay? If there's a conflict, statute. You can change statute law fairly quickly, within months. Common law is extremely slow to change. But if there is a statute made, so if there were a statute that says People are charged, or a common law that says people are charged with break and enter have to go to jail first offense. That's common law. If the government says, no, we don't want that happening in every case, they will put that in. They will say, first offense people do not have to go to jail. And then the rule that was passed, the common law, is instantly eliminated by that statute when it conflicts. As long as it doesn't conflict, we use both. We use whichever rule we need. Don't care where it comes from. But you should also be aware that what happened here is the common law helped you to interpret the statute. By knowing what happened in these cases, we know what the rule is going to be. So you will see that although this is written here, you didn't understand what this meant until you started to see how the cases unfolded. The common law interprets both statute law and other common law. So they're not, one is more important than another, but they are different. They're both important. Common law is very old. We can go back to cases from the 1400s and maybe even as far back as in the 1200s, and there are rules that we still use today. And they're all come from those judges' decisions. There are areas in which there are no statutes about, but there's still rules. One of them, I'm just going to tell you for the, you don't have to know this, but negligence. People get sued for being negligent these days. That law exists almost entirely in a case that was decided in the 1700s. And all of the law comes from that one case. It's a case where a guy bought a beer for a friend and there was a dead snail in it. And they gave it to the friend and the friend drank it and the friend got sick. And they wanted to sue. And there was a problem because the friend who was injured didn't buy the beer. They didn't have a contract. So they had to find a way of getting this using this old rule and this old rule and this old rule, putting it together, and when they put it together, out popped negligence. That's what happened. So common law is important, statute law is important. They are different. They come from different places. They do different things. And they interact in different ways with each other. Anybody have any questions?
Which law is more powerful?
You can't say that. The right question is, what rule do we use here? Doesn't matter where it's from. One is not more powerful. The one thing you do have to be aware of is, if they're both there and they don't say the same thing, then, and only then, statute law will be used. But I don't like you saying that it's more important or more powerful. It's only more powerful when there's a conflict. This is important law. Okay? Go ahead.
When you chop up the statement into parts, I also divided it after without, after valid, and after driver. And I wanted to ask why you didn't do that.
I can understand why sometimes people will divide this further. The reason why I am okay with this is because this is a yes-no question. Are they without it or not? Yes, no. And when you can get to that point, that is often a place that you can divide it and it works. However, you could say, what are they without? They're without something, right? You could do that. But I can tell from the facts, is this yes or no? And when I get to the point where I can go this way or this way, when I have a pivot that I can answer, I'm okay with that as an element. There isn't one right way to break down the definition. There isn't one right way. And the good news is that when we get to this point in the course, I will break them down for you. I will give you the definitions broken down properly in a way that I want you to use them. I don't expect you to do that, but I do want you to know what happened to get us to the point where I'm giving you those. So I will give you law broken down into pieces, and I'll tell you exactly what they are, And then you can take those and use those on the exam. Don't use this on the exam. I made it up. Okay? Good? We've covered a tremendous amount of ground tonight, folks. Spend some time in your own quiet world, going through it, try to understand what we said, why we said it, and what it really means. If you have questions, I will address those at the start of next class. It's good to have questions. That means you've done some work.